That's New York City. I'm Alan White, and welcome back to another edition of the Big Orange Bird. Well, today's edition is going to be a little bit different. You're used to seeing me going out and flying over all the beautiful landscape of Virginia into grass fields. Today, I'm flying to New York City. Yes, I'm going to fly VFR in the Big Orange Bird to New York City. Now, I've actually done this several times as my son lives in New York City, in Manhattan. And what I do is fly into Teterboro, which is the closest airport you can get to Manhattan in a general aviation airplane, and fly back out. I do it VFR with minimal having to communicate with ATC. So for those people that are a little bit hesitant to fly into the busy Class Bravo airspace, this is a relatively simple way to get in and out. Now, it's only VFR, and it's not recommended for everyone, but I've found it to be quite simple for me to get in and out that way. So you can take a look at this, see how I do it, see if it fits your needs, and if so, don't hesitate to go into Teterboro. They're very friendly, and I've never had any problems flying in and out of there with them. They've been great. My first issue is dodging all the special use airspace between Washington, D.C. and Camp David.
Watch me as I go. Should I look both ways before you cross me, baby? 'Cause I don't break for boys. I'm moving on.
I have to detour a little bit to the west because a direct route would put me right into the Philadelphia Class Bravo. As I approach New York City, the first obstacle I encounter is the 30-mile limit. From this point forward, you must be equipped with ADS-B out. In this simplified approach, we never actually enter the Class B airspace. We do that by flying under it, in this case, below 3,000 feet. As I enter the second ring, I must be below 1,800 feet. I fly to Guzti intersection before turning north to Nias intersection. Between Guzti and Nias, I listen to the ATIS on 114.2. Then at Nias, I'm 11 miles out from Teterboro, so I contact Teterboro Tower with the ATIS. From this point on, it's a fairly simple procedure just to follow the directions of the ATC controller, and then they typically have you land on one runway, they're departing on another. Just make sure you've got that straight and head on into Teterboro.
I'm before you cross me, baby. 'Cause I don't break for boys. I'm moving on. I'm moving on. Got nothing left to say. Let's be on my way. Best of luck. I'm moving on. I'm moving on. I got a new love. He runs for miles. 67 fastback. Oh, it's just my style. We're headed down the road. Just enjoy the show. Watch me as I go. Should've looked both ways before you cross me, baby. 'Cause I don't break for boys. I'm moving on. I'm moving on. Got nothing left to say. Let's be on my way. Best of luck. I'm moving on. I'm moving on. I'm moving on.
They're going to ask you where you want to park, and I always use Meridian as my FBO. They're very friendly. They've always treated me great, even though, as you can see, I am typically the only single-engine prop plane on the ramp.
I'm moving on. Should've looked both ways before you cross me, baby. 'Cause I don't break for boys. I'm moving on. Got nothing left to say. Let's be on my way. Best of luck. I'm moving on. Got nothing left to say. Let's be on my way. Best of luck. I'm moving on. Got nothing left to say. Let's be on my way. Best of luck. I'm moving on. I'm moving on. I'm not a joyride, a hit and run.
Departure is really no different than any other towered airfield. Call up clearance delivery, get your clearance. Call up ground to taxi. And then once your run up is complete and you're ready, call up tower for departure.
I'm moving on. I'm moving on. Got nothing left to say. Let's be on my way. Best of luck. I'm moving on. I'm moving on. I got a new love. He runs for miles. 67 fastback. Oh, it's just my style. We're headed down the road. Just enjoy the show. Watch me as I go. Should've looked both ways before you cross me, baby. 'Cause I don't break for boys. I'm moving on. I'm moving on. Got nothing left to say. Let's be on my way. Best of luck. I'm moving on. I'm moving on.
As with any other airport, make sure you read back your hold short instructions and your clearance to cross any active runways. On departure or on landing, you're most likely going to have to cross at least one of the runways.
I'm moving on. Should've looked both ways before you cross me, baby. 'Cause I don't break for boys.
For departure, I'm backtracking the same way I came in. I've already told them I'm a VFR departure. They've asked me what my approximate heading is going to be. I've told them 260 degrees. I depart using whichever runway they tell me. They clear me on course, and I turn to 260 degrees and head back to NYC and go back out the same way I came in, making sure I stay below the Class B airspace the entire way and out of any of the other controlled areas at nearby airports. I hope you didn't think that just because I went to New York City, you were going to get out of having to watch me land one time on grass. No, that's just not going to happen. Just outside the Class B airspace sits Solberg-Huntington Airport with a nice long grass strip. So there you have it, a fairly simple way of getting in and out of New York City in a general aviation airplane. It's not that difficult. It's not rocket science, and it's actually very enjoyable. Folks there are great. You can get an Uber from Teterboro to New York City, depending on the time and the traffic, anywhere from $40 to $60 usually. It's what my son usually pays going or coming from Teterboro to Manhattan. And it's just not that hard of a thing to do. So, hey, go to the Big Apple.